to have these auditions done, he will invite them and he will try to get expertise and scientific evidence what really happened.
All right, got a break, Doctor. Final segment with our guest. We'll talk about what they discovered in their investigation. Okay, sir, tell us, now that you've had official hearings on this, new information that you've discovered. You also told me during the break the connection between bird flu, swine flu, secret contracts, why that is so important.
Yeah, we had a first audition, and the WHO representative was there, and we asked them which reasons they had to change the definition of a pandemic. And he didn't give us scientific reasons. He just told us that the WHO is asking many scientists. He told us the number of scientists, about 138 scientists, he said, they were asking, and after this they had changed the definition. But when you really see the press reports from that time, it's from the 19th of May, and we asked him this too, then you can see that there were many member states urging the WHO not to use the new definition, and Mr. Fukuda, who is the representative of WHO, who was present in Strasbourg, he told us, he told those member states of WHO, had told them, yes, we will have a deep thought on it, but then they met again with the pharmaceutical industry, and they just went on blindly using this unwanted pandemic definition, and this led to spending enormous amounts of money, and this led to unnecessary vaccinations of millions of people. So I think this will be a very severe thing, and very accusations we have against the WHO and against those pharmaceutical companies doing such an undue influence on the WHO decisions.
Well, Dr. Wodarg, we know that they paid off ministers. We know they falsified the pandemic. We know they didn't get proper testing of the vaccine. We know they're making billions of dollars off of this. We know that bird flu trials killed a bunch of people. I mean, is this not a very serious criminal operation that we're investigating?
I think we have to stop this entering of the private firms, private pharmaceutical firms, to the public health institution. They should just leave this institution, and they should have no influence on the decisions of the agency, of the public health agency, which is so important for protecting us against health threats worldwide. And this shall be one of our goals to give advice to our governments to go to the World Health Assembly and to say that WHO has to change its rules and that there has to be more transparency. This will be the result, I think, of our recommendations. This will be our recommendations to the member states.
Well, we know that in the U.S. and Europe, especially the U.S., because I've really studied that area, perhaps you can fill us in on Europe. I mean, these are very draconian powers, and they tried to have forced inoculations in New York State and Massachusetts State. I saw some European Union member states tried to say everyone must take it. It's the law. Isn't this a human rights issue when the government in league with Big Pharma says you must take this experimental shot?
Yes, the Council of Europe is a human rights institution, and this is why we deal with the matter, because the integrity of the body and the right to health is a very important fundamental right, which is touched, and it should not be touched by if a doctor just do something because he wants to earn money, he is punished if he doesn't do it for the health of his patient, but he does it only for his pockets. So if an institution or if a big institution does decisions for money and is influenced by people who do it for money, this is a crime too, and I think we have to go after it as a human rights institution, and we will do it.
Well, sir, we appreciate you joining us here today. My final question is this. It's two-part. What is the process on the report? Any other breaking news that came out of the preliminary hearings? So what is the process? Any new information, breaking news you'd like to relay to the world here? And when will the final report come out?
I think the last question I can answer, the first, is that there is no pandemic vaccination necessary. We know this now. Rather, we are very, very sure that it is not necessary. So the people were right in France, the people were right in Germany not to have this pandemic vaccination. This is the first and most important thing. And what will be the result of our investigations, we see that in many national parliaments, we have special investigations according to their institutes and their scientists now. So we are 47 nations, 47 parliaments will do investigations. And what we do in the Council of Europe, will be the platform for exchange of experience, and we will foster this discussion in the national parliaments, and we try to feed them with information we get from WHO and from other institutions. We are now collect all information. We are in this period that we collect many informations about single scientists, single institutes, where they get their money from, and all this is now collected, and we get a better and better mosaic, a better picture of what had happened. And this will be the report then, and the recommendations will come out of it.
Well, we know laws have been broken, some crimes have been committed, conflict of interest, but if this clear picture is confirmed, do you believe that there will be calls for indictments or criminal investigations, or does Big Pharma have too much control?
There is no law for WHO. There is no one who punishes those people in WHO. We only have national law. So this is very important that we collect the information, and on the national level, we try to find those people responsible, and we try to punish them there if they did something wrong.
Because if we don't, they're just going to keep doing this over and over again.
Again, yes. But this is the task of the governments, because the governments, they define the role of the WHO. It's a contract between the UN nations, and the UN nations, and the governments of those nations, they control the work of WHO. But it's the government; it's not the parliament.
Will you be able to ever get those secret contracts?
We got it in Germany, the French got it, and the national parliaments are now working to get all the contracts. The Japanese told me that they had no possibility to retire from their contract, as we in Germany succeeded to do a little bit. So we negotiated with the pharmaceutical companies, and they let us save a little bit money from those almost 700 million euros they wanted first. So it's very, very different from nation to nation, and I just can tell my colleagues and just can ask my colleagues in all parliaments, go ahead, have investigations, have a deep look. We cannot tolerate such a development. We cannot have this the next winter again. We don't want such faked pandemics.
But the good news is the court of public opinion, I've seen the numbers. This is record numbers of people not buying the hype who are refusing to take the shots. And in the final equation, we're going to let you go, Doctor. Who are the real bad guys? Big Pharma? And are you saying the WHO is run by Big Pharma?
The WHO has opened the door for Big Pharma. And the Big Pharma influences the WHO by scientists with institutes paid by Big Pharma. Scientists are dependent that the institutes get money from Big Pharma, and the scientists go there. They do the clinical studies for Big Pharma on one hand. On the other hand, they go to WHO and say, you have to buy those pills, do such decisions. This is what the suspicion is, and this cannot be tolerated. But the public health institutions have to be free from influence, from economic influence. It's about our health. It's not about business.
Yeah. Well, that's like Rick Perry, our governor, saying all girls must take the Gardasil shot that they admits killed a bunch of people. And then that wasn't even a law. He just recommended it, but went on TV and said it was the law. Hoax after hoax, and it turned out most of his party got massive money from Merck. Dr. Wolfgang Wodarg, we appreciate Dr. Wodarg for joining us. Wodarg.de is the website, WODARG. We appreciate you and your colleagues' unanimous investigation, unanimously agreeing this is a hoax and a fraud, and expanding the investigation. We salute your courage, sir, and we'll continue to watch the investigation and the report.
Thank you very much for your interest.
Take care, sir. We're very, very interested. Thank you. There goes Dr. Wodarg. Now, notice that they tried to make it mandatory in France and then in states in the U.S., and this whole thing fell apart because we exposed it, because we found out in January, early on that they were planning a flu hoax hype. We didn't know if it would be real. We didn't know if it would be super deadly. We didn't know if there'd be martial law. We just knew they were hardening all police facilities for martial law in the name of pandemic megadeath flu. Millions dead in Illinois, millions dead in New York State. I mean, these are the documents we got. These are the eyewitnesses. And I went on air in January, in February, in March and said, look for flu. And then when it popped up in Mexico and they hyped it up, we said, we don't know what's happening, but we know they're staging it. Look out. And our websites got hacked. We got attacked. And then I really got concerned because these were government level attacks. And I was like, my God, this is real. But the good news is we exposed the hoax together, you, the listeners of this show, and others. And we came through this together. And now they are damaged to where it will be hard for them. But Obama signed an executive order for total police state control during a biological attack.